It's recently been reported to me that I am not very funny, that I could use a more comedic touch. And because I value feedback, because I feel like the universe is always telling us something, whether we want to listen or not, I did my best to integrate that feedback and to include comedy and humor as part of my aspiration. But I didn't get very far. I'm not a very funny person, actually. And I really think that we need to take people's feedback seriously, but at some point, I mean, maybe we're not so authentic if we try to function according to their perspectives and not be true and genuine to our own feelings, our own deepest sense. I'm not a funny person. In fact, I'm tragically humorless. There's a deep wellspring of grief inside me. I get really agitated by the smallest minor things of such trivial importance. And I'm obviously in a great deal of pain. I hurt. I hurt quite a bit. Right now there's noise in the peripheral environment that's just unsettling me so much that I feel such great grief. I have no sense of humor about the things in my environment that aren't going according to my plan. It makes me so upset. The truth is, I have a heart, but within that heart is a hurt. So really, I have a hurt. The hurt is what I try to run away from every day. And I try to run out of my house, down the steps, into the front yard. But there's a kid out there. He's in a tree fort. And he's got a slingshot. And the minute I step outside of my front door and he senses that I haven't dealt with my hurt, that I'm evading my heart, he shoots a rock at me with the slingshot. He's got a perch right there in a tree facing my front door, 15 feet from my front door, far enough away so that he can, have a great view of me right as I exit the front door. And then he can pull back his slingshot and bam. He never goes for the head. He always goes for the chest. He really just goes for the heart. Right here. Because he wants to remind me that the heart is hurt. And if he can hit my heart with a rock, then he can turn my heart into a hurt. Because he knows I'm running out of the house to escape my hurt. And that slingshot is a swing shot back into my heart. But if you're anything, or if I'm anything like you, and if you're anything like me, you want to solve the hurt. You don't want to stay with the heart and remain in the hurt. You want to run out of the house, like me. Now the question is, do you have someone outside your front door who's up in a treehouse on a platform with a slingshot who's going to zap you in the heart to return you to your hurt? That's really what it's about. I'm lucky he's out there, even though most days I can't stand him. I want to go up there and grab the little kid because he's only about 12, 13 years old. I want to take him by the ankles and shake him like this. I want to be up in the treehouse holding his ankles and shaking him like this so all the change falls out of his pocket and goes down to the ground, 20 feet below. I want to dangle him right there over the abyss, shake him by the ankles until he's mad with fear. Until he totally surrenders to me. I want to evade my hurt, my heart, so much that I would torture a little 12 or 13-year-old kid, shake him by the ankles from the treehouse so all the coins drip down onto the lawn below. That's how badly I want to avoid my hurt. That's how badly I want to avoid my heart. I know how badly you want to avoid your hurt because you're hurting right now listening to me. You want to give me the best perspectives you possibly can that would alleviate all the suffering inside me. You read a great book last week. You want to tell me how I can solve the hurt in my heart based on that book that you read last week. It's that easy if you could just type in the comments, "Hey Mark, I read this great bestseller last week. Here's how you can solve your hurt." But what if my hurt is my heart? And maybe that kid in the treehouse with the slingshot, he's my best friend. Maybe I don't know that until he shoots a pebble right here in the center of my chest, knocks me back into myself. I go back up the stairs, I sit down on my chair, I put my hands in my head like this, and I cry, and I weep. Not because I got a stone in the heart. It's because I've got a stone in the heart. The hurt, the hurt, the hurt, the heart, the hurt, the heart, the hurt. Now, of course, I know you're very philosophically sophisticated, and you will say that the heart is not only hurt, and I agree with you. Totally agree with you. But that's not what this is about, is it? You wanted to leave this monologue, consult your bestseller, get back to me and tell me how the heart is not about hurt. But that's because you start to feel the hurt, perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps you started to feel the hurt of the notion that the heart is hurt, and you took off. You went and grabbed that bestseller from your bookshelf, and you came back and you started thumbing through it, and you found the perfect paragraph for me. But it was really because you didn't want to feel the heart as hurt. And so what I'm saying to you is put the book back on the bookshelf. Walk down the stairs into your neighborhood and find a 12 or 13-year-old kid. Build him a treehouse. 20 feet off the ground, 15 feet from your front door. Get that motherfucker a slingshot and give him an ample arsenal of pebbles. And tell him, "Hey man, I'm likely to run down my stairs in total terror between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. each day because I couldn't deal with the hurt inside my heart. I want you to be up there. I will leave sandwiches up there for you." Right? Because it's not that I only stay in my house all day because I can't deal with the hurt. There's times when I go outside for a walk or the grocery store or whatever I need to do, that's when I'll put the sandwiches up in the treehouse. Right? And really make a thing of it. Get up there with your sandwiches and your lemonade. Maybe I'll leave you some cookies and milk. And just have the slingshot ready for when I run out the door. And you gotta be quick. 15 feet is the optimal distance. I want you to practice now. I'm going to set up a target for you, and you can practice. You come here between 1 and 2 every day, and you shoot a pebble at the target, and you just keep on doing that, because eventually the target's going to be my heart, which is my hurt, and you're going to have to zap it with a stone. You're going to have to zap that motherfucker with a stone. Send me right back up my stairs, down into my chair, where I can deal with all my addictions. I can deal with my addictions to alcohol. I can deal with my addictions to drugs. I can deal with my addictions to entertainment. I can deal with my addictions to porn. I can deal with my addictions to cigarette. I can deal with my addictions to everything. To art itself. To all the great books that I read. All the great thoughts that I have. Anything that would remove me from my hurt. I mean my heart. Because I know that there's bliss here. I know there's great beauty. I know that there's so much love in my hurt. I mean my heart. But how am I going to access that? Am I only going to access at certain times of the week? When the storm front of my suffering has passed and there's only blissful sunshine radiating out from the centermost regions of my being, aka the heart. Wow. What a division. What a recipe for more hurt. Oh, I can't deal with that right now. My hurt, I'm going to shunt it off into a remote region of my soul and never deal with it, ever. So there's a schism. Hurt, heart. But really, because the hurt is the heart, you've actually split the heart. How innovative hurt has heart that we've ostracized to a peripheral station in the orbit of our soul. It's out there, and the sunshine is in the center of our solar system, and that's where I need to hang out. So I walk outside my front door and bam! The sunshine of my heart is demolished with a little stone from a 13-year-old. The sun can't handle that. The sun can't handle that. Are you man enough? Are you woman enough to go make a friend among the teenagers of your neighborhood, maybe 13, 14, or not even a teenager, 12 years old? Make some sandwiches for that kid, get him some lemonade, stick him up in a treehouse with a slingshot. So every time you feel like screaming down your stairs, pulling your hair out, and escaping the hurt, you get pummeled with at least one stone in the heart, maybe 3 or 4, if the kid's good, if the kid's got good aim. Befriend the kid. Your life depends upon it. Your life depends upon realizing that hurt is your heart. Now, what is that hurt? We haven't even talked about it. I don't know. I really don't know what your hurt is. I do know your heart, but I don't know your hurt. I can only intuit your hurt. I can only intuit it. Maybe you were abandoned as a kid. Maybe there was a terrible breakup in your recent history. Maybe you were abused, molested, raped. But the hurt is your heart. And I know you want to run out of your house. Now, if that kid weren't there with the slingshot and the coat of arms, because the kid's really a warrior, isn't he? How far would you run? And you know you would have to come back. You know that's how it works. Because of the gravitas. The gravitas of your hurt is the gravity of your heart. And you would come circling back right up those stairs into your chair at your desk like this. So the kid is really preventing you from wasting your psychic energy on a superfluous, circumambulatory escapade of nonsense. You're back. You're in your chair. You're feeling your heart. You decide not to go anywhere. In that deep heart, which is your hurt, you feel your pain and your suffering so profoundly that you've become trustworthy for the first time in your life. Because that's the thing. Until you realize that your heart is your hurt and your hurt is your heart, you will never be trustworthy. Because you will always run from other people. Right out the front door, down the street, through every neighborhood in the county. You always run from other people. You will never be trustworthy because you are always running from yourself. Right? How could I trust you not to run away when you're running away from yourself? How many pebbles do you have? You've got a whole pouch. How many pebbles can you fit in that pouch on a daily basis and give to that kid out in the treehouse in the front yard, 20 feet up in the air, 15 feet away from the front door? How many pebbles can you give that kid? How many sandwiches can you make? How much lemonade can you brew? Do you want to be a trustworthy human being? Do you want to realize that your hurt is your heart? What would it take? Do you have the courage to go make a friend? Do you have the courage to realize what the fuck I'm talking about? It's really painful, isn't it? I know. I know. Fuck this guy. I'm gonna go get my bestseller. I'm gonna turn to page 47, and I'm gonna teach him how it's gotta be. Because this guy, this fucking guy in orange up here, he doesn't have a clue. I want to turn him off. But I can't. I can't turn him off. My hurt won't let him. My heart knows better. You can't turn off the heart. And you cannot turn off the hurt.